Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Norbert Yak Milk Morvan.
Soon the elves will all rise up and stab out Santa's eyes.
What? If you don't leave milk and cookies out, he'll put dung in your sock. Oh, man.
He might rust your chestnuts with his powerful flamethrower.
Rain, 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 rain. Do, 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 do. Oh, what a song. I love the old 97s, man. And so hearing them on a major MCU thing made me so happy.
I was not aware of that band. And when he does that strum where he just rotates his arm in 360 on that acoustic guitar, I have to buy all of their music now. And quite frankly, I don't like Christmas music other than the Charlie Brown soundtrack.
I have that. That's the one of the few I own.
Bloom, bloom, bloom. That's perfect. Vince Guaraldi, I think his name is. And so now I have a Christmas song that I like. Finally.
They had Smashing Pumpkins on this soundtrack. I'm listening to this. I'm like, is that Smashing Pumpkins? And they have a song, the old 97's called Barrier Reef. And so he's like, what's so great about the Barrier Reef? What's so fine about art? What's so good about a good time spent? Like if you're working on a broken man. So it's like he meets this lady at a bar. And he's like, my name is, I forget what it is. He's like, I'm a serial lady killer. And then she goes, but I'm already dead. And it just freezes him. So it's like, it's a cool song, man. And then you have another song called Time Bomb, which I love. It's like, so if you're ever looking for some old 97s, Time Bomb and Barrier Reef are the jams to listen to. They make me so happy.
It's dark people. That's what we need.
I get it. I like that, like emo, like, yeah, I like that kind of music. I have a dark soul, but I'm kind of happy. It's a weird thing, Norbert. I like the emo stuff, but I try to stay positive.
It's Gen X, bro. It's Gen X.
There it is.
It's Gen X. We were born, and we were 20, 30 years from what was supposed to be the Jetsons. And now we're here, and it's really not the Jetsons.
So hey, MCU 2022. And I just want to ask you a question before we start. So in episode 4 of She-Hulk at the end, it's Madison and Wongers, and they're watching Sopranos together. And she asks him about drinks that he's had. And which drink would you prefer, Norbert? Goldschlager, a slow gin fizz, yak milk, or a gin and tonic?
I made a list of what they said.
Yes.
Okay.
Great minds.
Tequila Sunrise, Long Island iced tea, slow gin fizz, blue curacao, a Manhattan, Goldschlager, and just straight alcoholic, just vodka straight.
Yep.
Just vodka straight. Now, I remember in college, Long Island iced tea was the thing because it was cheap, and you just bang it out, and then you puke, and then it's Tuesday.
Binge culture.
That's it.
Man,
But
what would you pick?
if I got to choose, I remember fond things about Goldschlager because apparently the key to Goldschlager was the little pieces of gold that were in there. And I, as an adult now, I no longer believe that was gold.
Yeah, for $14.
Yeah. It occurred to me as I was drinking this stuff one day, that can't be gold because I bought this bottle on discount. And so if it is gold, it's got to be gold in the way that Taco Bell is meat. You know?
Air quotes.
Yeah. Arby's has the meat. That's not meat.
No.
That's not meat.
Mm-mm.
But the Goldschlager, apparently the key to it was the little flecks of gold, quote unquote, that would make little cuts in your throat as you drink it so that you get drunk faster. That was supposed to be the key to the Goldschlager.
Oh, get in your bloodstream.
Right. Like people who use tampons full of booze.
That's all I'm gonna drink from now on because that's devious. I respect that. Like that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I'm Goldschlager, just for the alcoholic in me, and I think I may have had a tequila Sunrise once, and it was very fruity. Right? That's how that works, right?
I just know the movie with Kurt Russell where he looks like Pat Riley. Which he based it on him.
There it is. It looks like that's our answer. So, yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm doing it. If it's a gin and tonic, I'm gonna take some Hendrix, some tonic, and then I'm gonna put a slice of cucumber in there. Boom. Because Hendrix has that nice cucumber base. If I'm gonna pick any of those though, it's gonna be a Manhattan. But I'm gonna have some. Let's see, what am I gonna take? Some Amaro. So I'm gonna take some Amaro, I'm going to take some Luxardo cherries. I'm going
Okay.
to take some orange bitters and just some regular bitters. And then I'm going to pour 2 ounces of either Booker's, which is a very high proof whiskey that I love, or
Nice.
I'm going to take some Whistle Pig, which is another good whiskey right there. Not the 12-year, the 10-year. And then I'm going to pour it in because with my Manhattans, man, I like the alcohol being a little forward. I don't like getting the, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're doing a drink, I don't want to get, yeah, you can't even taste it. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're learning a lot about me on this one.
Well, that was the problem with the Long Island iced tea because it was actually so full of well liquor,
Yes.
and they would disguise the horrific taste of well liquor with just double the amount of Coke or whatever Pepsi soda thing that they threw in there. And then the idea that the reason why it was called Long Island iced tea is because, yeah, that's the color of the water around Long Island. Very accurate. Go to Jones Beach.
That's amazing.
Go to Jones Beach. You're swimming in some brown water, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You're swimming in some brown water. These are the days.
In college, I had a great friend, Johnny Party, and we're still friends. And we were in a band called Johnny Party and the Furious Funksters, and also the Brewskis.
Nice.
But he would do gin and tonics because he would look at me and be like, listen, you got the gin, you got the ice, and you got the tonic. You have 2 things hydrating you, and then some booze. So you're getting hydration while you're drinking. Like, that was his theory. I never ever saw him puke or absolutely plowed. So maybe he just had a wildly high tolerance, or he was putting it into plants next to me. But yeah, he hung in there, Johnny Party.
The functional alcoholism is a Madison key.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The ability to be able to somehow maintain coherent thought while being just shit faced.
I want to see Madison team up with Isla Fisher's character from a movie called Bachelorette Party. And in that movie, Isla Fisher's just an absolute tank. Like, she belly flops into a pool, and then she's like, that was amazing. And she's just keeps it. The amount of everything in her system would kill you and I. But I think, like, at the end of the battle at Avengers Endgame, she would still be walking around. So I want to see her. But, like, all right, so let's jump into it. So what we're going to do is 2022 was home to a lot of Marvel content. So we had Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which opened on May 6th. We had Thor: Love and Thunder opening on July 8th. Well, in the United States, my apologies if I'm getting it wrong at other places. Then Black Panther: Wakanda Forever opened November 11th. Then we also have Moon Knight, which was March 30th. Miss Marvel, June 8th. She-Hulk, August 17th. And then we had the Guardians of the Galaxy special, and we also had the amazing Werewolf by Night opening up in October. And so I figured last year, I was like, hey, Norbert, let's just, like, talk about all of everything in one episode, and we ended up turning it into 2 episodes with the Disney Plus and the movies. So I figured this time let's just talk about our favorite scenes. Let's pitch our favorite moments. We don't have to do the entire sweeping year. But before we get into it, man, like 2021 I felt was an interesting year for the MCU because it's in 2021 when it finally exploded with content, I think. Because we had Black Widow, we had Shang-Chi, we had Eternals, then we had Spider-Man No Way Home, then we had WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, then Hawkeye. So we're talking 9 properties of Marvel. Back in the day, we get 2 movies, 1 movie, you know. And so I think with Eternals too, and I think the door started to, like, get kicked open a little bit in regards to, because they're coming hot off the heels of Endgame. So I think people started kind of complaining about Marvel a little bit, like, oh, Eternals, it tried something different. It didn't really succeed, but I hate it. I mean, listening, doing like putting the gang together for an hour and a half in Eternals probably is not the best idea, but I like that they did something different. Who cares? It's fun.
Sure.
I think this year, though, with like Moon Knight and then Miss Marvel and then She-Hulk, and then the dislike around Doctor Strange, the dislike around Thor: Love and Thunder, then everyone's like, oh, Wakanda Forever is cool. I think that there was a, you know, even Wakanda Forever didn't pull as well as the first film as far as critics and audience scores. And I just think that it was a very interesting year for Marvel. It's like, where do you stand on the 2022 for Marvel? The cinematic universe is what we're talking about.
Well, here's the problem. These are characters who generally were C and D list Marvel characters in terms of the comics that you read. I have never been super into any of these characters. And I've been reading Marvel comics since the 80s. You know, these are the characters that pop up guest starring She-Hulk in Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And when they have their own books, guest starring Spider-Man. Spider-Man pops up in everybody's book because we're 6 issues in, got to get a boost. We're throwing Spider-Man in here, you know. So She-Hulk had several series on her own. The first series was kind of serious, you know, and that's where you get the line in the movie, "Hey, She-Hulk, is it true that you were attacked by the mob?" And that's how because that was her origin. She was attacked by the mob, and then she got the blood transfusion as opposed to a car accident. And so she had that series, and then her next series, it was breaking the fourth wall with John Byrne. He was writing and drawing, and his art is fantastic. And then Miss Marvel, we've had several iterations of Miss Marvel. You had Carol Danvers, you had Monica Rambeau, who became Photon, and Monica Rambeau, she didn't get a lot of burn, even though she led the Avengers for a while, because she's super overpowered. There's nowhere else to say it. There's nowhere else to say it. Like Thor, absolutely, he's got the power of God and he can do lightning, but Monica Rambeau just controls all spectrum of light and just generates power. In an unlimited fashion.
It's like Superman, kind of.
Yeah, she didn't have the invincibility and the super strength, but you couldn't stop her. You couldn't stop her. She debuted in Amazing Spider-Man. Sal Buscema drew her. Black Panther, those comics, I mean, you know, hot jungle action. You know what I mean? That came out in the 60s and 70s. So you got a lot of, you got a lot of problematic stuff, you know. And then M'Baku, thank God they changed him for the movies because he was just like Monkey Man in the comics. It was just, yeah, you know what I mean. And then you get Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is just Steve Ditko plus all the acid.
Super trippy.
Those comics are just trippy, and the art right now, if you take the words out of the panels and just splay the art all over your apartment, you would have a seizure because it's incredible, those things.
Yeah.
Werewolf by Night, you have Jerry Conway, my man, just writing some really weird stuff. You read those comics and he just loses it as a werewolf and just beats people up. But none of these were super popular, and so you get the burnout of the fact that, like you said, so many of these properties are coming out. The Disney Plus stuff is now making it go from 2 hours to like 12.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are we burned out of the characters that we really love, the Spider-Man, the Hulk, the Avengers, but now we're just getting these randos.
Yeah. Amazing actors, and then
that's what I was just about to say.
And
to their credit,
they're still like, I mean, listen, they're pulling, you know, for She-Hulk, they have Tatiana Maslany. She's a beast, like Orphan Black, man. What a show. And then you get Oscar Isaac and Moon Knight and Ethan Hawke. It's a gnarly group that they pulled this year for 2022. But for some reason, it's just so many people have complained. And, you know, I guess for me, movies to me, I had a really enlightening experience in 1999. I was working in a movie theater, Phantom Menace comes out, and I saw a bunch of just grown men when I was working at the theater leaving and just going, ripping up they bought 2 tickets and they ripped up their tickets for the second showing, and they're just, that wrecked my childhood, and just, I felt this really, I was like, I don't like any of you, you know, just watching them. And so I think after that, I kind of stopped letting movies control my happiness. You know, I never want to watch a movie and go, oh, that wrecked my childhood or that wrecked my day. I love movies. You know me, man. I love it. But I don't have like entitlement around it. And I think that was really important for me. So when I watch a Marvel property, you know, I think I watch them as gigantic Disney commodities that Disney's won. Marvel's won. Marvel has won. And so we're watching gigantic. This isn't the 90s, Norbert, where you and I were reading X-Men comics and would get, you know, well, I probably would have fought somebody if they made fun of me for it. But, you know, I have my Star Wars t-shirts. It wasn't cool is what I'm saying. And,
that's it.
And so now it is it. It's it. So it's like this weird culture of people who still believe that comics aren't popular, but it's the most popular thing in the world. So for me with Marvel, man, I just enjoy them. I don't let them wreck my life. I know they come from Disney. I know they have huge budgets. I know they have to lead into the next, I know they have to check off boxes. And I'm fine with that because these are gigantically produced films that are blockbuster smashes worldwide. You cannot be, Man of Steel and
Yeah, these are
be
the
Marvel.
new tent poles.
Yeah,
These are the new tent poles.
you kind of just have to tell, and they've been, you could, 50 years from now, if someone looks back and just goes, how did Marvel do it? Like, they laid a blueprint down for success. So I have a great amount of admiration from them, but I don't consider them to be hyper art. I consider them to be mass produced, really well made things that have to check off boxes. So call me, you can get as angry as me as you want, but I watch them all. I appreciate them all, but none of these shows this year wrecked my life. I think I found good stuff to like in all of them. My favorite was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness because it's Sam Raimi. It's my favorite guy. My favorite character was Wanda because she killed everybody, dude.
She turned into a Terminator.
I never thought Marvel would do that. I was in the theater going, I was wrong. I never thought that she would just blow up Balt's head. She would kill Monica Rambeau. She would kill. I have
Captain Carter.
Yeah, Captain Carter. So I have the name here. Like just kill Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards. Just destroy him. It's amazing. And then my favorite moment from all of this is from Werewolf by Night, when it's just Gael Garcia Bernal doing a cheeky spin that goes into a sit move. That's my favorite. Because that's why that's what I want, Norbert. Like, I want to be like, I was wrong. And they let Wanda murder people. I want to see Gael Garcia Bernal do the weirdest sit move you've ever seen in your life. And like,
brilliant.
Yeah, because that's why you hire these actors. You should let them be themselves, or let them take chances. So my favorite moments, I think, are the ones that are very weird or take chances. So we're talking about our favorite moments. So I guess I'll start, and I'll just say my favorite moment is Werewolf by Night, when he does so he sits down. I can't even explain it. Nor like I sent you there's no gifs of it. There's no clips.
I found it.
Yeah. Oh, you found. Oh, okay. But when he's with Laura Donnelly and he's just talking to her in the crypt and he does a slick little sit down. And by the way, Diego Luna, right, and Gael Garcia Bernal, the Y Tu Mama Tambien actors, they're crushing it in 2022. By the way, man, Andor, that's the best thing I've seen all year. And so
Andor.
Oh,
go ahead.
Perfection.
Please,
but that's another episode. That's another episode. Yeah. No. But yeah, that's my favorite moment, man. Is a moment where he just does a cheeky sit, because that's my sensibilities, man. You know me. Like I saw that and I'm like, that's an actor on fire right there. I love that performance. So that's my number one.
And I dig what you're saying there, because Elsa Bloodstone has just escaped some kind of horrific danger, and now it's just time for a little bit of exposition. And he just comes in and she sits down on the floor like a normal human being. And he takes a moment, pauses, does the little Michael Jackson spin, sits down on the floor. So you don't want to be like your father then? And yeah, I got you. The dude is oozing swag and confidence throughout the entire thing. Oh, these marks on my face. Yes, they are to, honor my ancestors. You know?
He's beautiful in it, man.
He's just a gorgeous man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just delivering these lines with it's all just suave.
Yeah.
He's just chill. Oh, by the way, I'm the werewolf. You didn't know that, did you? The reason why I'm so cool and suave is because when the moon comes out, I'm going to murder you all.
Yeah, exactly.
And so let me smell you so that I will remember you probably. When I turn into this lupine beast. And good God, that was just so good when he finally does wolf out.
Yeah.
Because, look, man, 80s kids, that's what we are. Yeah. And in the 80s, there were two things you absolutely did not mess with: vampires and werewolves.
Mm-mm.
Because vampires, they don't sparkle, they don't run up trees and try to romance you, and werewolves will murder you.
Dude,
your best
following any of those movies.
There it is. You and I, Mark, we've been friends for just such a long time. And then, oh, sorry, Mark, I'm a werewolf now, so I'm going to eat your face. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And so he's in the cage with her, and she's thinking, so I'm going to die now because I don't have superpowers. I'm Elsa Bloodstone. If I don't have the Bloodstone, I'm just Elsa. And I don't have the ice powers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that Elsa. I'm just regular Elsa, with a creepy stepmom. It's oh man,
And
it was just good. It was just good. Go ahead.
you know, a lot of people are saying that, oh, it's the most violent thing you'll ever see. And I'm like, well, for MCU it is.
No,
It's
it's not.
like, watch I Saw the Devil and you'll never be the same. So but I mean, for Marvel, it was fun to watch them embrace black and white. It was fun to watch them embrace the 1930s aesthetic of Frankenstein, Dracula, go back to the pulpy creature features that Universal was pumping out. And
The title card,
yeah,
absolutely.
and
So
and
cool.
and I'm telling you, man, just that sit down scene. You're gonna hate me, but I feel like it had more character than about 17 full MCU movies. Just that one sitting down scene.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. These things have, for what it's worth, no matter how you feel about Joss Whedon, he's left his stamp
Hmm.
on the entire MCU. And the first MCU movie is Iron Man. That's not Joss Whedon at all.
Yep.
But the banter will pop up. The Whedon banter, the Whedon-esque banter will pop up. And Garcia Bernal, mwah, got it.
Yeah, dude, just I just love watching him and Luna blow up in 2022. You know, Motorcycle Diaries. You know, just watching these guys, and now they're in just two really cool pieces of filmmaking. It makes me so happy to see
There it
them
is.
blowing up right now. So that's my number one, man. That's my favorite moment of 2022 MCU properties, is a moment involving someone sitting down.
Okay, okay. There it is, man. There it is. Well, that'll take me to my Werewolf by Night. I got a couple of moments for Werewolf by Night because I tried with Moon Knight. I tried with Moon Knight. I tried. But like I said before, these are already the D-list Marvel-y characters that when they pop up in a book, oh, it's nice that he's there, but I'm not going to read Moon Knight. And I always got a vibe off of Moon Knight in the comics that, so this guy is basically Batman, but multiple personality Batman? And he throws not batarangs, but moonerangs, and he's got a cape, and he comes, and I'm just, I can't with Moon Knight. I can't. I've tried, and like you say, Oscar Isaac, it's Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Ethan
So
Hawke
that's
putting
just-
glass in his shoes. I mean, come on now.
So that's just me. That's just me. And it's all and the popping up in the guest books ties into what you were saying earlier about how people complain how it's all connected. It's comics. That's the point. The point is to get you to read other comics.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt, Norbert, but like I'm not trying
Go
to
ahead.
say that. Like if you're listening, I'm not slagging on Marvel.
Yeah,
for
not
that.
you. That's
Yeah.
not you.
A lot of people do that though, but it's
Right,
also
right.
this is gigantic filmmaking. This is
Right.
comic books. Watch this to watch this. That's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
That's like that's business 101. So I love their business model. I really do.
It's the business model of comic books.
Yes.
It's sequential storytelling. You buy issue 1, it's a 12-issue limited series, you're going to buy them all. You know, when Rocky came out, guess what? There was a Rocky 2.
Yep.
Rocky 2 set up Rocky 3.
And now there's a Creed.
And now there's 90 of these things. And you didn't complain because why? Because it didn't have the end credit scene. Hey, follow.
I'm your father.
You know what I mean? Now, Bola, let me tell you something. You and I, we got problems, and we're gonna fight next summer in Rocky 3. Is that why you think that those movies weren't trying to create franchises? This is what movies are.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is. Okay, so rant over. Now, so you mentioned Werewolf by Night. Okay, so for me, my Werewolf by Night, my moment. These are not in my favorite 1 to 10. This is just any order. But Werewolf by Night. Oh my God, when Jack Russell meets Ted Sallis.
Oh.
You can't keep counting on me to save you. Oh, they're brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And Man-Thing not only does Man-Thing not speak English, he doesn't speak. He's just making noises. And the CGI hits so great
Mm-hmm.
because it's black and white. And he's got this bloodstone stuck to his back, and that's just blood red. It looks so cool, man. Man-Thing is not, again, D-list character. Boys with Howard the Duck, one of our earlier pods.
Mm-hmm.
Howard the Duck.
The Duck.
The Duck. Ugh. He's Boys with Howard the Duck in the comics. And he's got the greatest tagline. whatever knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch. And then they did it
They
in
burned
the show.
him. Yeah.
He burned him. He burned the hell out of that guy. And that is why these D-list characters, they come out, so you can do whatever you want, but if you nail one or two of their comics things, it feels so good. I was not a huge Man-Thing fan. Man-Thing comes out around the same time as Swamp Thing. The guy who creates Wolverine was a roommate with Jerry Conway. And
wow.
Roy Thomas, the creators of Man-Thing, you get Roy Thomas, Stan Lee, Jerry Conway, and Gray Morrow. Len Wein creates Wolverine, and he's roommate with Jerry Conway. And so they're like, yo, Swamp Thing is mad similar to Man-Thing. and so Roy Thomas, he says, Jerry and I thought unconsciously the origin of Swamp Thing in #1 Swamp Thing was too similar to the origin of Man-Thing a year and a half earlier. There was vague talk around the time that Marvel was going to do legal action, but it was never pursued. I don't know if any letters even changed hands between Marvel and DC. We weren't happy with the situation over the Swamp Thing 1 origin, but we figured, it was a mistake. Jerry was rooming with Len at the time, tried to talk him into changing the Swamp Thing's origin. Len didn't see the similarity, so he went ahead with what he was going to do. The two characters diverged off of that origin, so it didn't make much difference anyway. Because Man-Thing protects the nexus of realities, and that's how you get Howard the Duck.
Oh.
Swamp Thing protects nature.
The swamp.
The green. Yeah, the green. Yeah. So they absolutely did end up being different. But yeah, they're both, I'm a guy who works with plants. Oh my God, I've been covered with chemicals and blown up. Now I'm the Man-Thing, Swamp Thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, but Ted Sallis, the Man-Thing, he's not supposed to have a consciousness, and he doesn't speak. Swamp Thing's a dude who just happens to be a plant. Like Swamp Thing tries to get girls and stuff like that. Man-Thing's got no time for that. He's protecting reality itself. So it was cool when Jack Russell met Ted Sallis, and they're just friends. They're bros. He's patting him on the shoulder and stuff. Yeah, it's okay. I'll try to help you.
Oh, I love them together. That's like one of my favorite duos of 2022. That's why you hire, okay, I'm so proud of Werewolf by Night because they hired Gael Garcia Bernal and they let him be him.
They let him do his thing.
Like, they didn't water him down. They didn't hire a new actor and let this actor just be a Marvel character. They hired an actor and they let him be him. That's why I love it. Like, that's my cinema right there. Is just let Sam Raimi be Sam Raimi. But from a business standpoint, that's tough. But I love that they did it, and that's why they're my favorite.
It was great.
Oh, I love that scene. And then you have one more, right? From this.
Yeah, it's kind of one that's in two parts. It's Papa Bloodstone and Stepmama Bloodstone. Papa Bloodstone, he's got this puppet in a casket so that he can be quote unquote with them as they go and hunt the Man-Thing. And I'll be rotting for you, which is just a straight up cheesy the early 20th century comics, the Tales from the Crypt of Fear type writing, where they just have those terrible puns. And it was such a shout out to the Crypt Keeper, who Tales from the Crypt. I always love that.
Hey, I made you talk Demon Knight with me.
That movie, no one will ever be able to convince me that movie's bad. I don't care what the Rotten Tomatoes thing is. That movie's awesome.
I was supposed to have I was interviewing this guy, Josh Rubin, and we were supposed to be talking about his movies, but we got talking about Ernest Dickerson. And I'm like, he's one of the most underrated guys out there. And we both just talked about that for 5 minutes. Not about the movies we were supposed to be talking about. We just got talking about Dickerson. And
cinematography, and that movie's just great.
But just that pun work, man, because right then and there, it laid down the gauntlet that it knew what it was. Like, we are cheeky, we're having fun, here's a pun, we're referencing Tales from the Crypt. We know our vibe. I like that about it. Yeah.
The intro before the credits, that's a homage to the old CBS Saturday Night Movie special, that they just managed to just incorporate into these Marvel things. Because they're aware. Don't take this so seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Comic books, bro. Relax. Oh, well, in issue 5, actually, Elsa Bloodstone's costume was not actually blood red, but more of a chartreuse. Shut up. How about that? And then Verussa Bloodstone, as she's dropping Papa Bloodstone's resume, he's a lover without equal.
Yeah.
She just drops that nasty.
I love
Whoop.
Harriet Sansom Harris. I don't know if you saw it. I don't even know if you want to watch the whole movie, but if you just type in Harriet Sansom Harris licorice pizza, she's in it for 5 minutes and she steals the entire show. So just
Nailed
type
it.
that in, and she's hilarious in it. And I love her in this. Like, I saw her in this, I was like, wait, Harriet Sansom Harris is like third on the list of an MCU property? Like, that's another reason to love this.
Mm.
Ah,
They
she's a
pop
lo-
these pe- they pop these people into these movies, and until now, so many of these actors, their career was deadly serious.
Yeah.
For a good majority of them, they're working in theater, live theater. They're doing mostly dramas, and then you get a chance to put on a costume and hang out with a bunch of monster bounty hunters and a puppet in a oh my God, what do you call it? A coffin. A puppet in a coffin. Yeah, I'm gonna bug out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy myself. And because the actors are so good, they do know how to just throw in that bit of nuance. What was that movie? The Muppet Christmas Carol?
Yeah. Michael Caine.
And you get Michael Caine, okay? And Michael Caine is around, for all intents and purposes, a bunch of colorful socks. But when he's Scrooge, he's playing it deadly serious.
That's why it works.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
He nails it in that movie.
Oof.
I think they just celebrated its 30th anniversary, or maybe something more than that.
Dude, we are old. Yeah. Yeah, period. Yeah, we are old. We are old.
Oh,
So
man.
Pop Bloodstone, Veruca Bloodstone, Jack Russell meets Ted Salas. Those are 2 of my 10.
Oh, that makes me so happy. And then, you know what? Let's jump around a little bit.
Go
Let's
for
jump
it.
around to She-Hulk.
Okay.
Now, She-Hulk made many people angry. And
Really did.
you know what's interesting though is I didn't mind it. It's fine. It's She-Hulk, and I've never read She-Hulk, but apparently She-Hulk is about breaking the fourth wall. And I know that even the show writer though was one thing. The show writer did say something weird. They're like, yeah, like the courtroom scenes aren't that great because they're just hard to write. And I'm like, yeah, showrunner probably shouldn't say that.
No.
That's like the one thing. So when they were doing honest trailers for it, I watched it, and she was like, yeah, like they're just hard. I'm like, ooh, don't say that, showrunner. But you have Tatiana Maslany. Also, episode 4 is my favorite. I think it peaks at episode 4 with Johnny Blaze, and just oh my gosh, and just Wong, just hating life, and Donnie Blaze. I'm sorry, Donnie Blaze and Wong talking about The Sopranos with Patty Guggenheim, who plays Madison. With a Y and 2 N's, 2 Y's and 2 N's, like, but you don't know where. That's such a cheeky episode. But my favorite part about Madison is that it's the type of character who I think would be such a throwaway. Like, you just get rid of her. Like, she's an idiot. But they send her into a demon planet, and she survives. Right. And she goes, at first it was fun, then scary, then fun again, then spooky in a fun way. And then she survives. And she's like, yeah, I guess I made a deal with a demon. And then she's just hanging out with Wongers talking about gin and tonics. Just the coolest character, like having fun, like just wrecking Sopranos. But her character, once again, was such like I feel like if this was the late 80s, early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, her character would be such a trope. But watching her in this, like, I think she's more of a superhero than most of the superheroes. Like, she could survive a weekend in Atlantic City drinking nothing but Red Bulls and vodka. Like, and she would still be on her feet. You and I would drink water, and she would drink all those, and she would be better off than us on a Monday. Like, just like she's this absolute monster. But when she said at first it was fun, then scary, then fun again, then spooky, but in a fun way. Like, I was like, wait, she survived a demon planet? Like, I want that movie. That's the movie I want. And whenever someone explains that, and she never came back. Like, that's so brilliant that they just. It's like the Jackie Daytona episode on What We Do in the Shadows. They're not bringing him back. Like, they don't want to bring him back because he's so perfect. So I just love that Madison popped in, was awesome. We never saw her again. And just that line made me so happy.
Madison is a friend. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If it was back in the day, Madison would have been all over Wong trying to sleep with him immediately.
Yeah.
And the actress, to her credit, you never get the vibe that she's trying to hook up with Wong.
Yeah.
She's just trying to drink with Wong. They're going to watch TV. They're going to drink straight vodka, and then she's going to mash some yak milk, and then they're going to finish The Sopranos,
Yeah, exactly.
regardless of the fact she spoiled it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want yak milk? Yeah, I would kind of like some yak milk. Like she's
Yeah, there it is.
whatever you got, she's gonna try.
There it is. There it is. Wallers, can we get froyo? We can talk about The Sopranos. No spoilers. I was over it when Tony killed Christopher. Just immediately.
But I like that she wears Wong down, the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Like she's, I like unstoppable forces like that, and I feel like she sort of is an unstoppable force. But yeah, she's not. She reads completely differently than how you're used to things reading.
Yes.
Yes. But like she survived a demon planet, made like a deal with a goat.
she just managed. The gift of gab is what we used to call that back in the day. She's got the gift of gab, and she managed to survive a demon planet and/or dimension just by being kind of drunk and existing.
Yeah.
And so there it is, man. Just Madison.
That's the friend you got.
And I don't want Marvel to spin her off into Madison the series, because that's the problem with these things.
No.
And that's also the problem with the comics.
Yeah.
A character does well, you get some reader buzz. Venom shows up in Amazing Spider-Man 300, 299 and 300. Next thing you know, Venom's got his own comic. Venom Lethal Protector. And then Venom Dances with Wolves. And then Venom Secret Kitchen Cookbooks. And it's just, oh, come on.
Venom Kevin Costner.
Venom breakdancing tips. It's just, ugh.
Wait,
So,
like Breakin'?
spin her off.
Wait, Breakin' 2 Electric Venomu?
Symbiote Boogaloo. Symbiote Boogaloo. That would be the problem. So we need Madison to just be like that. Pop in, light the room up, bounce.
Out.
She was brilliant. Yeah.
And I also love too when Donnie Blaze are in the courtroom, Madison's spelling her name, and then Donnie Blaze's lawyers, you see him in the background erasing what he wrote down because he spelled Madison wrong.
Fail, exactly, because that doesn't make any sense. That's some super millennial stuff right there.
It's just so. And just at the end talking about Goldschlager, and she's wearing a hoodie, just sitting there with him watching Sopranos, and they're just buds.
So comfortable.
It's beautiful. And then I guess I'll drop one more. I know some people didn't like it, but I think one of my favorite. So I think my favorite superhero comic book TV show ever is Legion. It's weird. It's funky. It's out of its mind. It's crazy. It's a crazy show. It never cared about being linear or making sense, and it's absolutely beautiful. But my second one is Daredevil. I think that Charlie Cox, the first season, man, I'm not from New York. I've worked there a few times, but I don't know New York. But they shot on the streets of New York. They had sets, of course, but it was they did a lot of on-location shooting for Daredevil. And I love the fight scenes. Charlie Cox put the work in.
That's him.
Yeah. Dude worked. He put the work in. I liked the entire cast, too. I watched the first season again. I was like, this is really good. And Vincent D'Onofrio, incredible. Just the entire cast. Like, I just love that show. And so seeing Charlie Cox coming back and then having sex with She-Hulk and then doing the morning after walk, like with his little shoes on, like he's he did the walk. Like, it's such a silly thing. He has a different costume, but I like that the guy from The Flight Attendant, I like that show. He's the one who makes the costumes. That makes me happy. But just having Charlie Cox in the MCU makes me happy. Spider-Man, we talked about it last year, then seeing him back here. Right. And just, and here's the thing, Norbert, like, this is Marvel. This is MCU. This is a global property. You can't have Netflix Daredevil. You can't.
No, you can't. You can't.
And to expect that is really is unrealistic. So I'm just happy that he's back. And then he's going to pop up in Echo? He's going to pop up in other shows. But Charlie Cox, man, I just have so much respect for him because that dude put the work in. He put the work in.
Charlie Cox doing so many of those stunts where you can see his face as he's kicking the hell out of these people. Reasons 1 through 10 why Iron Fist was garbage. And nobody wants to see it again.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see it again. Charlie Cox, okay, he walks into that courtroom, dismantles Jennifer in arguments, and not just because he's supposed to zealously defend his client, as all lawyers should do, but also because he's actually got a secret identity. So yeah, we don't need this stuff to be getting out there. Then he goes to the bar and just god tier flirting.
Yeah.
God tier flirting. Oh, you're making fun of a blind man's clothes.
Yeah.
So suave. So suave. All right. Then, in Marvel Comics fashion, since the beginning of the universe, the obligatory fight leading to the team up, witty banters included, my ass remains unwhooped, says Daredevil. You can read that in the balloon in the comics panel. That's so perfect right there. And then, did you know the difference between goons and henchmen?
Yeah, I
Because,
love that.
because goons believe in the cause, but henchmen are there for the paycheck. And
Whoa.
then, just another hot flirt. Your heart beats pretty fast. And she's,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, she melts.
Son, he had her at hello. Maybe next time I'm in town, we can get some dinner, or, we can just skip all of that. She-Hulk is like, and now the foreplay has ended. Let us begin. The walk of shame.
Ah, man, it's just having him back and making the jokes about the hallway fights, and we're not going to get that same Daredevil. We're not. Just having him back was enough for me. So those are a couple of my other favorite moments.
Yeah, characters evolve. Back in the day, Daredevil, really dark, really serious. Lately, the recent Daredevil series, it's probably to coincide with what they were doing in these TV shows on Disney Plus. He kind of lightened up a bit, and he's always had moments of being snarky dude. He's from Manhattan, So he's always going to have these jokes. He's a bit snarky too, The way that the fight went down with him and the Punisher in the comics was very similar to what happened in the Punisher series with him and Daredevil. Or was that the Daredevil?
Man. That was Daredevil season 3 or 2. Yeah.
Right.
Because Bullseye was 3.
Bullseye.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a show. Elektra, dude. Elektra was awesome.
It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
There was also, the witty banter was there even, and so the characters are evolving and things are getting better. She-Hulk and the courtroom scenes, again, her first series, she was just, I am a superhero. And then the second series, she's breaking the fourth wall. And after that, it gets picked up in 2004. And in 2004, that's when the courtroom stuff begins. And so for the showrunner to say the courtroom scenes are hard, dude, you got all of Perry Mason.
Yeah, it was.
You got 20 years of Law and Order.
If I was Kevin Feige and I read that, I'd be like,
you're fired.
Yeah.
Just straight up, you're fired.
But you are a showrunner.
Yeah, you're fired. You're fired.
And I'm not making this up. There's an actual quote. And it's
12 issues of the courtroom series that introduce the superhero law stuff. And again, literal decades of content where you can just parody courtroom stuff. I wanted it to lean more into the courtroom stuff too.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted it to lean more into the courtroom stuff too. Anything that's wrong with this show is not on the actors.
No. Dude, Maslany's a beast.
Yeah, the actors bring it. Give
me a court case every week. That's it.
I would have. You kidding me?
Yeah, give me a court case. A different court case every week. That's it.
I totally get what they did with the last episode by subverting the whole it's got to be a CGI fight with 1,000 creatures. I dig that. But at the same time, they made the Illuminati, it ended up being not important.
No.
And I kind of felt bad. I felt bad about that, It was cool when they brought in the Wrecking Crew, the homage to the Wrecking Crew from the comics. The Wrecking Crew are just 4 dudes who, from Loki, got enchanted, construction equipment. So that they could fight Thor. So that was stupid. Yeah, we don't need to bring that into real life. Let's just make it this. But then they killed, it was really cool. It was horrible what that guy did to her, you know? But, and then it's just, it kind of ends meh.
But
so yeah.
If you think about Loki though, Loki ended with the god explaining everything.
Yes.
Moon Knight ended with a god explaining everything. And then you have She-Hulk ending with the AI explaining everything. So they wanted to avoid the gigantic fist fight at the end, but then they leaned into the TV show tropes. So it's I think at some points it wasn't as clever as it thought it was, but I still dug it, man. I still dug it.
No, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's a cromulent show.
Yeah.
Perfectly cromulent
Listen, give Maslany something to do. She's awesome on screen. Give Charlie Cox something to do. I dug it. I liked even her the friend she worked with and the other guy with the shoes.
Yes.
The whole bit about the shoes. I was like, just give me an episode about this. Like, I didn't want the who ended up being the bad guys, the dark web crew. Like, just get rid of all that. Like, just give me Tim Roth for an episode. Give me Madison for an episode.
That was one of the greatest episodes, man, where she's just there with Tim Roth and they're just expressing their feelings. I love that.
Right. Just give me that. Yeah, the therapy session. That's it. Like, I didn't want it. I wanted no fights. I just wanted it to be,
just
Perry
Maslany.
Mason. Yeah, Maslany crushing it. Because she played 18,000 characters in Orphan Black. She's great.
Seriously. All the accents are flawless in Orphan Black. The woman is a powerhouse.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oy.
And so I got 2 moments from She-Hulk.
Ooh.
The first one, episode 4, she's going on a date with that dude. That dude is just jacked. He's very handsome. And one of my favorite things about this show is that She-Hulk's trying to get it in.
Yeah,
she's
is.
trying to help with dudes, but she's not super thirsty. She's got standards. All right. And she's willing to give love a shot. If it was a dude, matter of fact, we've seen this before, 30-something man tries to find love in the big city. How many shows is that? How many movies is that?
How I Met Your Mother.
That's not, you know what I mean? It's never boring. So episode 4, she goes on a dinner, and a lot of people crapped on the CGI in this, but I thought She-Hulk's face was very expressive.
Yeah.
And so she's got the dude on the couch, spills wine on his shirt, and he goes to the bathroom to clean it up, and she just chucks that shirt like, I need to look at this marble of a man, because her mouth opens when she sees his muscle. She's and he comes back in. Where'd my shirt go? And she's, I don't know. Where we're going, we don't need clothes, my friend. I love the fact that she's going on these dates and she's trying to find love. That's another thing that they could have done instead of the way they broke the fourth wall. The fourth wall thing was only in one series. I'm pretty sure that She-Hulk has 6 different comic series. The fourth wall thing was only from one of them. And the John Byrne series, to me, it's not so great. It's really weird. Like, he was trying to find out what to do with the character. So the fourth wall thing, do it a couple of times, or just have it where she's doing the, hey, kind of winks at the camera.
Yeah, Wong is Twitter ammo, or Twitter something,
Right. I do love that we could have had, this show could have been Sex in the City mixed with Law and Order. Include that starring She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I would have been down with that.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been down with that.
Yeah. But that was episode 4 as well. Banger episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then just the Hulk intro in episode 9. Oh man, they even get Ruffalo to stand there and just close.
With his leg up.
He's just confused the whole time because the 70s Hulk show, I'm sorry, still holds up. I'm sorry.
He just goes around beating up people. Like, he beats up abusive dads. He beats up people. He just finds things and beats them up. I love it.
He's wandering through America, hitchhiking in those spectacular bell bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to, save himself from the curse. The creature, he sought for murder he didn't commit. So he's got to figure out a way to get rid of the creature and clear his name. Bill Bixby, rest in power, brother.
There's a thing on YouTube where they play the openings right next to each other.
They're great.
Yeah, right? It's fun. It's cheeky. Great. That's kind of what I wanted from this. And that's just a fun intro. I dig that. That's a good pick.
They definitely had fun with the show. The Megan Thee Stallion cameo, I love that, man.
It's funny.
That was so great. She pops up and when she did Saturday Night Live, wow. Keep that girl a TV show. That's all I gotta say.
Man, people were like, "This is the end of Marvel." Like, when they were twerking, I'm like, "Why? Like,
why?
This is She-Hulk. It's about a lawyer who's a Hulk."
There's a dog with a space helmet on. You can complain about that.
Exactly.
Jesus.
This is two of them dancing together.
Yeah, I thought it was great. So yeah, She-Hulk. She-Hulk is one of those. You know what? It'll probably be better in season 2 type of shows, which are so many shows in the last 5 years, to be honest with you, not just MCU stuff.
I hope they get one. News on the streets that they're not going to do one, which would be kind of a bummer, but I would love to see a season 2 of it. A little bit more focused, more courtroom stuff.
This is it. This is it. Just literally just She-Hulk as Erin Brockovich. Let's go.
All right, so I know you didn't watch the show, so I'm just going to briefly touch on this. But I'm going to talk about Moon Knight. I had to watch it 3 times. I got assigned, I had to write a script about it, so I had to watch it 3 times all the way through. I'm not even going to get into that. So
Convince me. Convince me.
Well, I want to talk about Layla in the show. Layla, I think Layla's the best. Like Layla El Fawley, Layla El Fawley. She is just like played by May Callumley. She is wonderful, and she's the hero in it. So in the beginning, Mark Spector is back and forth. Who am I? When am I? Blah, 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 blah. Ethan Hawke's eating soup and putting glass in his feet. But the true hero is Layla. She really is. And so I watched with my wife, Megan, and like Megan was like a huge fan of Layla because she is like she's kind of Tomb Raider in this. She's a badass. And so for my picks there's the 4th episode, which is about them going into a pyramid and finding the grave of Alexander the Great. And they're dealing with like mummy demons who are disemboweling people. There's walkways that are falling apart. There's graves. He's pulling Alexander the Great out of he's pulling a wooden statue out of Alexander the Great's throat. It's an Indiana Jones episode. So there's a scene where she has to cross, Layla has to cross this kind of Indiana Jones-esque bridge that's fallen apart of rocks. And then she's also getting attacked by like mummy demons. And like it's just a cool scene, man. It made me think about the Mummy. It made me think about Indiana Jones. I love anything with treasure. And so just watching her get this episode, watching mummies disembowel people, it made me really happy. So it's just one big Indiana Jones moment. So I'm taking that. And at the end, Scarlet Scarab, she becomes Scarlet Scarab, Layla does. So she ends up becoming the avatar for an Egyptian god. Don't even get me started on the gods in the MCU. But I sent you the clip, and she just looks badass as Scarlet Scarab. When she flashes her wings, and then when her fight. So the Moon Knight took a while to actually have good action, but when she popped up, like I loved her action scenes. And then this girl asked her, like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she goes, "Yeah, I am."
She goes, "Yeah, I am." Yeah.
And just starts crushing people, like throwing trucks. I love the look of the character. I love the costume design. I thought, I would love to see her in future films because she's the action hero of this show. And so I just dug her a lot. I like the character, and I just love that intro when her wings flap out. I have the Funko Pops of it, man. Like, I don't care. Like, she's awesome. We had to go on eBay because it was like an exclusive. But I think she's cool, man. Like, I like the performance. I like the costume. Megan was a huge fan of hers, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's a character I want to see more of. Like it's like an Indiana Jones. I love Tomb Raider movies. I love Indiana Jones movies. And so now you have a superhero who hunts after treasure. Like that's my ideal superhero. But yeah, Layla, that's it.
I'm going to try and watch Moon Knight. I'm going to try. It's just Moon Knight. It's not the actors.
It's 6 episodes.
That's it, and it's short. It's not the actors. It's just Moon Knight. I have never been able to get into Moon Knight. I'm gonna try.
Now in this one, he's not Batman at all. Okay. Like this isn't a billionaire man. This is I don't want to give anything away, but this is not a mega rich character. It's more about like childhood trauma. And you go into the Egyptian afterlife. You have Ethan Hawke eating soup. Just walking around.
Ethan Hawke eating soup.
You have, Anubis looking awesome. You have Egyptian gods. It's just different. It's just cool. Like, I think there's a rooftop fight that's like one of the worst action scenes I've seen in an MCU property. But once Layla gets going, man, and once you get giant Moon Knight and a giant crocodile fighting each other, gigantic, and, the logic doesn't make sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so, I don't know, what was it? Anubis. It's Anubis, right? Let me check.
Anubis is one of the gods.
Who's the main? I've watched this. Oh wait, Taweret? No, let me check this real quick. Is it Taweret? Let me Moon Knight. I feel
too many gods.
Yeah, too
many gods.
Too many gods on the dance floor.
There are just so many gods.
Let's see.
How do you keep track? How does anyone keep track of all the gods? Quite frankly.
Oh, Ammit. I can't. Not Anubis. It's Ammit. Ammit's this awesome, like looking crocodile. But what Ammit wants to do is kill people. Like she judges them and knows they'll do bad in the future. And then, but the thing is, once people realize that a god is doing that, that's going to change the course of what they're going to do. So it doesn't make sense. But it's a giant, awesome crocodile, and I'm telling you, man, Layla, when she busts out that costume with the music, that's just cool stuff right there. So that's my 1 and 2. That's another one of mine. So I'm gonna go with those.
In the words of Harry Belafonte, okay, I believe you.
I don't listen. I didn't. I've watched it 3 times, and I had to analyze it really closely. And it never got old for me. I don't think it's top tier. I mean, it's not Wanda, but I do think that there's enough there to like.
Oh no, I believe you, man. Like I said, we're bottom line, we're in the D list now.
Yeah.
So it all depends now on, can they make these dudes compelling? These dudes, not just dudes. Can they make these characters compelling at this point? You know, and I'm cool with it. I've never looked at it as, oh, there are too many comic book things. Because there's always stuff like that. There was a time when everything was a Western. And there was a time where everything was just a cop on the edge.
Oh, the 70s?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always a phase that these things happen. For a while, there were just non-stop horror movies.
Remakes.
That was the 80s.
Yeah. And then,
because horror movies were super cheap.
In early 2000s, it was nothing but remakes, Saw movies, zombie movies. They were everywhere.
It's just a phase.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about the zombie movies is that the zombie movies, as we know them now, they started with Romero in the 60s.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah, you know? And then and then it takes a while for us to get good zombie movies. And then they had a pause, and then zombie movies are nonstop now. I think finally the zombie movies have stopped. So, yeah, just relax, folks. Enjoy yourself.
Live life. These are movies.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Understand the trajectory of Hollywood and the way it follows patterns, and you'll understand.
Phases.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my Moon Knight. So what do you got next?
All right. How about Miss Marvel?
Hey. Fun
Miss
show.
Marvel. Miss Marvel's just cute. Just so nice. Everybody's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so nice. even the villain. I don't find the villain. They're just nice. Everyone's kind, man. You know. And so, 2 moments. Well, just Muniba, mom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're the best. When they dress up as Hulk and she disappoints her dad.
Just big Hulk and little Hulk. You're not going to wear skimpy clothes, Kamala, like everybody else. You get it. You get it. You don't want your daughter dressing like a tramp, as they used to say back in the day. You don't want her doing that. Muniba is not going to hit you. Muniba is not even going to top in her lungs, scream at you. Muniba is just going to break you down with parental logic and the eyes. Muniba is so expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala thinks that she's pulled off some real devious shit. She comes back in the room. Yeah, I snuck out. I'm awesome. Camera, Kamala. No. Where have you been? What are you doing? Who is this rebellious girl sneaking out and lying to Abu and me? You knew what I was going to say tonight. You knew it would betray me, and you went out and did it anyway. I felt bad.
Yeah.
I felt like I snuck out, and my mom caught me. And it wasn't, oh, my mom's such a bitch or whatever. It was, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. My parents don't understand me. It's like, no, that's logic. I'm a child.
Yeah. And throughout the entire series, Muniba is just trying to get Kamala. She's not trying to break her spirit. She's not trying to shame her into getting married and having a family. She's just, yo, your grandmother was into this weird stuff too. And it didn't really turn out well.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to just calm down. Oh, I love it. I want to hug Muniba.
Yeah, she was so good, man. Those are good movie parents right there.
Just
And the dad's remote.
I missed my parents watching this show.
Oh wow.
These are such good parents. They're not naggy.
Mm-mm.
They're just look, man. We're here in this crazy country. We went through the horror of the partition, and we've made a life for you here. And we don't even want you to necessarily be like us. We just want you to be okay.
Hmm.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
And
That's a beautiful thing.
they live in a world where there's the blip, where
Yeah.
cars fall on people randomly. This isn't just our world. This is our world with superhero death.
The chaos of superheroes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is our world times that. So of course they're going to be careful parents.
I love Muniba. And I love
And I also love that this entire show kind of ends with a Home Alone style combating of agents. Like, it makes me in the gym, they're just sort of shooting tennis balls at people.
It's just setting traps and and just being conniving. You don't get to use that word a lot. They're just conniving.
Rapscallion kids.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So just Muniba, and then Kamala just straight Back to the Future is it,
Yeah.
and helps her mom find her father during the partition at that train station. And credit the people that made this show. This show is usually just bright and colorful, and then you get that partition scene, and oh man, it's just post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
The colors, it is dark, it is scary. If you have a soul, you feel like, oh my God, the world is ending for these people. And then Kamala, look, I don't do stars, but I do steps. And that darkness is shattered with those little steps that oh man, this show, okay? This, again, we're in the D list of the Marvel characters, but this, oh man, this whole series is not about bow, biff, pow, biff, sock. It's about, this is feelings, Miss Marvel. It's feeling. And I was really, really feeling it.
Yeah, I had a good time. It was kind of wild watching this, because you go from gods wanting to destroy the world to Miss Marvel, and it takes such a nice little turn where you can just sort of enjoy a show, and I dug that about it. It's cool. Like, it's it's just something different, and I'm happy that Marvel finally, like, maybe I'm not gonna say took a chance, embraced kind of bringing in some more diversity, and I love the music too, man. Like, whenever a song popped on, I was like, what is this song? I'm going to build a Spotify playlist out of this. No, man, but I dig it. Yeah, I'm so happy that you included that. That's cool.
Is it just, and the villain, the villain just wants to go home.
That's it. Get me out of here.
The villain wants to go home. If you go home, you're going to destroy the world. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going home.
Yep.
I'm done with this. I'm a genie and I want to go home.
Oh yeah, bringing gins into it. Heck
yeah.
Okay. So we already talked about the first song in the Guardians special, so I'm not going to do that one. That's one of my favorites. But I'm going to talk about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And there's two moments that I love.
Okay.
And listen, first of all, Ryan Coogler had to celebrate and mourn the life and death of Chadwick Boseman.
Jesus.
Then he had to give enough screen time for all of the characters that were in Black Panther that were beloved. Right. Then he had to introduce another world. He had to bring in Namor. Like, he had...
Yes.
He couldn't just tell one movie. He had to... This dude juggled. And I think that he really pulled it off. And so my favorite moments, though, are not, like, super serious scenes. I just love when there's I don't want to spoil too much, but when an orca catapults somebody into the air to fly onto a ship. I was like, me, man, I love catapults. And so I'm like, a killer whale just shot somebody into the air onto a boat. I was like, life doesn't get any better than that. So that's my one. And then my number two is I love the attack at sea when Namor and his crew first attack. Like, so they're underwater. Yeah, they're underwater. They're looking for the vibranium. It's very, like, underwater in their suits. They disappear, and then they sing a song. These guys start jumping off of their boats, and then Lake Bell goes full action hero.
Lake Bell, yes.
Yeah, I like action hero Lake Bell. She was awesome. She was cool. Yeah. Like, we'll never see more of her, but I thought she was really good in this movie.
She's doomed. Yeah.
And so, like, watching her do that, and then the helicopter, then Namor flying, and just the whole the mystery to it, and just watching them just kill too.
Murder.
Like, the number one thing I like about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is that for once violence isn't treated cheekily. Whenever violence happens on screen in this movie, you're going, this is unnecessary.
Yeah.
When the two, countries are battling each other and they're killing each other, you're like, guys, you don't have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
None of the violence is ever pretty. It's always ugly. And I think that's the first time that Marvel's ever shown that
That is correct.
in a movie ever. Because I was watching going, this is pointless. I was like, stop killing each other. I've never had that feeling during a Marvel movie. And so, but those are my two scenes. Is the attack at sea. I like, it was just weird seeing action hero Lake Bell. And then it was awesome seeing a killer whale catapult somebody in the air. So those are my two moments for Black Panther.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Namor and Shuri, they talk.
Shuri.
Namor and Shuri, they talk. And basically the conversation is, look, man, y'all have vibranium. We have vibranium. Y'all had to avoid just the conquerors and the colonizers. We literally went under the sea where the seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake because we had to avoid the Spanish and their smallpox and just the burning of stuff.
Yeah.
So why should we beef? Do I want to kill everybody? Yes, Shuri, I do. But, look what they did. So again, you get that Killmonger thing where, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
And so then you deal with the underlying politics of the fact that these two marginalized groups who should be working together to combat the overseer, the boss, they're pitted against each other instead of realizing who the actual enemy is.
Absolutely.
So that's underlying there the whole time. It's just, oof. The movie's got layers, man. It's 2.5 hours, but the movie's got layers. The acting is, oof. Listen, Angela Bassett shows once again how she has been underutilized by Hollywood.
It blows my mind. What's love got to do with it, right? And then
yeah. The problem with What's Love Got to Do with It is that at the time I was a different dude. A lot of people watched that movie and were just laughing.
Oh, really?
At what was going on, unfortunately. Okay. Because what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne. Yo, his Ike Turner was a clown in that movie, man. He was more of a clown. The accent and the cocaine, it was a lot. And Angela Bassett's trying to bring dignity and just, look, eat the cake, Anna Mae. Eat the cake. And people are just joking. And, oh, Lawrence Fishburne's hilarious. And I watched that as an adult now and just, oh, my God. Oh, my God. So this is the problem with that movie and with Angela Bassett not getting the respect that she deserves.
Because of that performance across, yeah.
She's the queen, period. She's always been this. She brings it in every single movie she has ever been in. She is never whack.
Never.
And you look at her now, and how the hell is it that Angela Bassett in What's Love Got to Do with It and Angela Bassett in Wakanda Forever have the exact same face? The exact same bullshit.
It made me want to work out because her shoulders in Black Panther in Wakanda Forever, and listen, she's I was like, what is happening? This is crazy.
The woman is an icon. She is a goddess. And her arms in What's Love Got to Do with It, you think they're serious now? Just get a glance at her as Tina Turner. She's got bis, tris, forearms. Angela Bassett, give her an Oscar. Please, give her all the Oscars.
And like, also too, Letitia Wright had so much to carry. Also, Lupita Nyong'o. Like, I'd love to see her have her own action franchise. And like, Winston Duke added a good dose of humor in there. I'm not quite sure why Martin Freeman was in it, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in a completely different movie. But whatever, put them in a... I was like, what? I was like, why is she here? This is very odd. But
apparently they were married, and then she just does a heel turn and puts him in jail.
Yeah, that was... And then she's like, I gotta say my favorite colonizer. But just watching them, watching the suit, Ironheart, I think just my favorite moment was watching Okoye and Shuri when they were scouting out Ironheart. Yeah, Riri, and they were just making fun of each other, but their glasses, dude, they had like Gucci sunglasses and like swag. Awesome tracksuits and just looking badass. And then the whole car chase but yeah, man, and even Tena Huerta, like I loved him a lot. I liked him a lot as well. And but the most impressive thing for me was this dude just couldn't tell Iron Man. Ryan Coogler had to do a lot. He had a lot on his plate, and he it felt organic and it worked. So I really
Oh,
like that about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
it's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie. For me, my Wakanda Forever moment, you finally just get General Okoye just holding it down. The four
Oh
Talibans
man,
on the bridge.
yeah.
And you give her credit. You know, General Okoye, she didn't eat the heart-shaped herb. General Okoye does not have an Iron Man suit. General Okoye has a vibranium spear, and just the fighting skills of Captain America. And the Talokans are superhuman. And it doesn't matter because she gives them the business. She stabs three of them and takes the fourth one to a decent draw until he like breaks her leg or whatever. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure exactly what happened. But oof, General Okoye, man.
she's a
Denai
beast.
Guerrero. She finally gets to show those she gets to show those
Michonne.
Walking Dead, the Michonne chops, the solo Michonne chops. They give it to her. They're like, this is your scene. And she just murders it. She's so good.
And I love a good fight. I love a good fight on a bridge, and so
It
they
was always
nailed that.
oh,
Ah, yeah. But what? That's a movie. Okay, I enjoyed Doctor Strange the most, but I think the best film is Black Panther, just simply because of what they were able to pull together with all the different things and make it work. Find the emotion, and like also the handheld camera work. I really dug. Like I love the cinematography. Good looking movie. I like the underwater scenes. It really differentiated, like they purposely differentiated themselves from Atlantis, James
yeah,
Wan's Atlantis. So
yeah.
like was what was it Talokan? Is that what it?
Talokan, yeah.
Yeah,
It
Talokan.
looks like a great place to, dude. I would love to just hang out in Talokan.
Yeah,
The people come up to you, they say hi, they're eating seaweed, they're swimming around,
playing basketball.
they're playing that old Mayan game that looks like
Yeah,
basketball. Yeah. You know, it just seems like a place to go, man.
I love it. And
Yeah.
oh, so I only have 2 awards left, and then you have 2 as well. No, you have
Okay.
3. But so I'll just knock this out real quick.
Go for it.
Um, I'm gonna do Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness
Okay.
because that I adore it. I adore this movie, and there's 2 moments: the Illuminati attack and Doctor Strange when he becomes Zombie Strange and channels all the demons and just becomes like a flying occult symbol in an MCU movie and battles Wanda. But when Wanda she shows up, right, and she comes up against Black Bolt, she blows his head in, like his head implodes, and I'm like, I was like, I never thought I'd
What
see that.
mouth? Yeah,
And
just what mouth?
and then
Yeah.
Reed Richards, this gets stretched into a Twizzler
Spaghetti.
and
Yeah, spaghetti.
absolutely
Yeah.
destroyed. Then
Yeah.
Captain Carter gets cut in half. Cut in half.
In half.
Peggy's big moment. And then Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel, she just gets crushed by the heaviest metal statue ever.
Monica Rambeau dies, yes.
And it just leaves Wanda with a scar on her face, limping, broken. And, if you think about Wanda, and I know this episode's going for a while, but if you think about Wanda, her parents were killed by Tony Stark. Then she was imprisoned, given powers, kind of driven crazy. Then her brother dies. And then Captain America takes her on a mission before she's ready. She kills some people. Then they put her on house arrest. And then she falls in love with a guy who's there for her. But then he's killed. And then she's like mourning, comes up with these kids and him, loses them. Of course she's going to become what she has.
Yeah.
I have my daughter. Like, I can't even imagine. I've lost 1/1000th of the things she's lost. And I could clearly see her in this. But I love that she goes full Terminator. And Olsen just crushes it, man. She has such a presence on screen. Marvel's lucky with her and Benedict Cumberbatch. But yeah, just watching that scene and just watching her destroy the Illuminati. And they let people die. They let things get violent. They brought in an occult zombie who wakes up with full on Sam Raimi eyes.
Yes.
Has a music fight, whatever, and then he gets demon arms. Like it's insane, and I like that they went for it. So those are my 2 moments.
This is what Marvel does, man. They figured out somewhere in the last 10, 15 years, if we kill a dude in the multiverse, it doesn't kill the dude in our universe, and that's great. It kind of starts with Days of Future Past in the comic books. In the comic books, Days of Future Past is just 2 issues in the actual Uncanny X-Men series. And then it goes right back to the regular continuity after they solve the problem in the past. And in that one, everybody dies. Everybody dies. But because it's in the past, you can play around with it in the future. So yeah, they went for it, man. They totally went for it. And Wanda, she does the classic Marvel, yeah, villains kill a lot of people, but eventually they'll be okay. They'll come back to our side. You'll see.
Yeah.
Magneto went in the comics, Magneto just murdered thousands of people.
Oh, dude.
He's murdered thousands of people. And then eventually he starts being a teacher of the X-Men. He teaches at the school now, you know? That's just what happens in Marvel Comics. Bad guys flip all the time. The Juggernaut is a good guy now.
Loki.
Loki. Like, we saw Loki rip a dude's eye out, and now Loki's a good guy. Okay, cool. That's the way it is. So Wanda, but this is it. Your moment is Wanda and the Illuminati, and my moment is Wanda just going T-800 in the tunnel chase.
Oh, man.
Wanda, right after she does the Illuminati thing, she's just din din din. You can basically hear that music as she's chasing them down in the tunnel. Din 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 din. Wanda, stop! Wanda blows up a door. Din din din, dragging herself. Just
the physicality, man.
Woo! Yeah, it's a serious performance.
All the water and yeah, she's just a beast in that movie. And then she wipes out all of what's the where's Wonger's? Where's his place?
The temple place.
It starts with R.
Rar.
Yeah, she just kills everybody. Gets in the head of one guy. So yeah, that's my Doctor Strange. And then we have one movie left.
Okay.
What do you got, Norbert?
I got boom boom down boom boom love and thunder. Love and thunder. I'm sorry.
Sweet child of mine. The Kid Army.
Oh man, Thor creates a child army of gods to fight, and the child army of gods is just adorable and yet incredibly dangerous. And one of them has like a bunny rabbit that it uses as a club.
Oh man.
This is hilarious. That part was funny. And then finally, for me, Gorr meets Rapu, the bringer of light.
Oh gosh.
Rapu, the bringer of light, mocks his dead children, mocks his faith, mocks the death of everyone who worshipped him. And then Gorr realized, and then the sword is just becomes sentient. Is like, why don't you just kill this dude? And he goes, yeah.
Oh.
And they just stabs Rapu in the neck. And that's
cursed.
I don't care what anybody says. This is the best part of the movie. He says, you're cursed. He's like, nah, not really. It's not a curse. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I'm going to go kill all gods and then not kill many gods.
And because we get that flash of eternity, the Marvel Comics physical embodiment of the universe, straight up Jack Kirby.
That was cool. That was cool seeing that. And also, they had the Celestial that was killed that appeared in the Eternals,
right?
As one of the statues in that too. But yeah, seeing Infinity. Listen, I feel bad for Christian Bale because he's not in this movie. He's in a different movie entirely. He's the Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this movie. He's in something else completely, but he nails it. Like he acts his face off. And just watching him with his son dies, and then killing the god, you're like, man, this movie's gonna be good.
We needed, the same way She-Hulk needed more courtroom stuff, we needed to see Gorr just rampaging against these gods.
Because that's the threat, man. Like
exactly.
Like remember watching Killmonger kill his girlfriend and kill Ulysses, and that's what you need. And then instead of him fighting, he sends shadow monsters, and you're going, like, why? Like I don't know. I don't get it. Like I don't. Why is there a shadow monster? Like just have Gorr murder everybody.
This is it. This is it. And okay, we get it. You don't want Gorr to fight them 17 times and then this time they defeat Gorr with the power of love. I got you. Let's just see Gorr killing some of these rando gods. He already killed Rando God 1.
Yeah.
Let's and while Thor is bantering with the love of his life, we cut away to Gorr slaughtering God.
Exactly. and that would have made it so much more interesting because Thor's having all these stupid issues, and then while he's dealing with his issues, Gorr's just murdering people. So then he's like, "Crap, I have to grow up." And it's and then
And then finally, Gore kills a god that Thor knows. Oh yeah, I remember Steve. Yeah,
He got rich.
Steve was the god of backyard barbecue. Steve's dead? What? Guy cut his head off? What?
Who's gonna work my Traeger grill?
Oh man, he killed the god of electric guitar. Really?
Who's gonna play Guns N' Roses?
Let's do that.
Man, after the year I had with all of Natalie Portman's dealings in that movie, and I don't know, but the things I like most about that movie, I thought Valkyrie looked awesome. Her costume was cool. Tessa Thompson got huge for it, but they didn't let her do much. I don't even think she came on the final mission.
This could be one of the reasons why people are saying, okay, Taika?
Yeah.
Okay, Taika, you good job. 1,000. A little too much of the witty banter this time, possibly.
I think, What We Do in the Shadows is great. Hunt for the Wilder People, Jojo Rabbit. I mean, the guy's an Oscar winner. Thor Ragnarok, I adore. Yeah. I just think he was a little too satisfied with himself here, and came back for the money. He was Gus Van Sant in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, directing Good Will Hunting 2 and just counting his money.
We didn't get enough gore. That's always been my only complaint about this movie. Needed more gore.
You have Natalie Portman, Tessa Thompson, Christian Bale, and then you make Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah. This is it.
I still had fun with it. It didn't wreck my life. Yeah. I walked out going, that was fun.
That's the synopsis for this entire episode. This year's crop of the MCU. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good. You're invested, so you might as well keep going. And the end of Phase 4 was the holiday episode, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas episode. So everything's going to kick into gear. One of the reasons too why this phase of the MCU was kind of okay. They got to introduce the new characters, give them the backstory, because they're not really connected to what was going on in Endgame, beyond the fact that they may or may not have been victims of the blip. Whereas if this was comic books, their books would be playing out already alongside these characters, so you may have come across them as they guest starred in XYZ. But because we're dealing with humans and not ink on a piece of paper, it takes longer to set this stuff up. So that's
we got Kane coming. We got Jonathan Majors.
Look, that last episode of Loki, as he's given his 40-minute just diatribe, I'm sitting there the whole time, just on the edge of my chair. Continue, please. Yes.
He's good.
I love that. So I can't wait for him.
We just watched a movie with him called Devotion. It's him and Glenn Powell, and it's a Korean aviator film with a bunch of it's good. I don't know if you ever get bored, watch Devotion with Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. It's good. It's a good flick.
The man is magnetic. So
yeah. Hey, listen. I'm gonna say this, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Mark said it again." I watched The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and I went, "That dude." I was like, "That dude's got it." This is before Lovecraft, man. This was before Harder They Fall, and I've told you this already on the Harder They Fall episode. I was like, "This dude." I was like, he's gonna do. It's like when I saw Jeremy Renner in SWAT. I was like, this guy's gonna do some things.
Yeah, he's got a vibe.
Yeah,
right. He's got a vibe about him.
And
let me tell you something, man. He did the photo shoot for the new Rocky movie. Not Rocky, Creed.
Yeah, gosh.
That photo shoot that he did, I was thinking, okay, so yeah, I'm into this guy. It's awakened some definite feelings in me that I've had to think about, because he's just frolicking around shirtless, and his abs have abs, and I didn't know that traps could look like that.
Yeah, he's got Tom Hardy warrior traps going on. What a great plot for a movie too. Like you can't go back to the Rocky well. You can't go back to the Drago well. So you have an old friend getting out of prison.
There it is.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I'm going to punch you in the face repeatedly for money. That movie looks like it's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Well, hey,
Jonathan Majors.
Where can people find you, man? Right behind
Eddie Kane. Bum, bum, bum. At Eddie Kane on Twitter, EDDIECAINE. That's on Twitter. Check me out on the SoundCloud, Norbert Morvan. Just type it in, you'll find me. Got the little weird podcast, Communiques from the 38th, where I just talk about the world and why I'm in a dark place. But that's okay, because I love you all, and I get to talk about movies with Mark, which makes me happy.
And also, you can hear his theme song for Con Air, the podcast, and you can hear us talking about Scumbus on one of the episodes.
Scumbus. So great.
That's a great title. But hey, man, thank you so much for joining me, Norbert.
No problem, brother. Love you.
All right, love you too, man. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Marvan, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.
He's a master burglar, a pro at picking locks. If you don't leave milk and cookies out, he will put them in your socks. Hey!